Somalia. Between the 7th and 10th century, immigrant Muslim Arabs and Persians established trading posts along Somalia's Gulf of Aden and Indian Ocean coasts. Mogadishu began its existence as a trading station. The early persecuted Muslims fled to the port city of Zila in modern Somalia to seek protection from the Quraysh at the court of the Nagashi Emperor in modern Ethiopia. Some of the Muslims that were granted protection are said to have settled in several parts of the Horn of Africa to promote the religion of Islam. Ibn Battuta sailed in 1331 to the East African coast, where he found another kind of state, post cities that might also be called merchant republics. Mogadishu, now in Somalia, was the first he visited. He said, "Mogadishu is a very large town. The people are merchants and very rich. They own large herds of camels and also sheep. Here they manufacture the textiles called after the name of the town. These are of superior quality and are exported to Egypt and other places." In the 15th and 16th century, Adal Sultanate, centered in Zila and Harar, controlled portions of Ethiopia and Somalia. Until the Ethiopian army invaded Adal Sultanate in the mid-1520s, Imam Ahmad ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi conquered Adal and launched a war against Christian Ethiopia, which was then under the leadership of Lebna Dengal. Supplied by the Ottoman Empire with firearms, Ahmad was able to defeat the Ethiopians at the Battle of Shimra Kura in 1529 and seize control of the wealthy Ethiopian highlands. In the late 19th century, after the Berlin Conference, European powers began the scramble for Africa, which inspired Sayyid Muhammad Abdullah Hassan to rally support from across the Horn of Africa and begin one of the longest colonial resistance wars ever. Aden Abdullah Osman Dar was the first president of the new Somali state. He was followed by Abdurrashid Ali Shamarke, who was assassinated by one of his own bodyguards. Mohammed Siad Barre, president of Somalia, who held dictatorial rule over the country from October 1969, when he led a bloodless military coup against the elected government, until January 1991, when he was overthrown in a bloody civil war. The Supreme Revolutionary Council, led by Mohammed Siad Barre, introduced scientific socialism and also gave priority to rapid economic and social development through crash programs, efficient and responsive government, and creation of a standard written form of Somali as the country's single official language. Siad Barre also championed the concept of a greater Somalia, Somalia Wane, which refers to those regions in the Horn of Africa in which ethnic Somalis reside and have historically represented the predominant population. Greater Somalia thus encompasses Somalia, Djibouti, Ogaden, and the northeastern province, the latter two of which are currently administered by Ethiopia and Kenya. The Ogaden War was a conventional conflict between Somalia and Ethiopia in 1977 and 1978 over the Ogaden region of Ethiopia. In a notable illustration of the nature of Cold War alliances, the Soviet Union switched from supplying aid to Somalia to supporting Ethiopia, which had previously been backed by the United States, prompting the U.S. to start supporting Somalia. The war ended when Somali forces retreated back across the border and a truce was declared. With worsening conditions in Somalia, rebels attacked Mogadishu, and on January 26, 1991, Siad Barre's totalitarian government was taken out of power. On December 3, 1992, a coalition of United Nations peacekeepers, led by the United States, was tasked in Syrian humanitarian aid being distributed and peace being established in Somalia. The UN had failed and withdrew in 1995, and to this day, Somalia is a failed state in constant cycle of violence and poverty.